Hello and welcome, guys, to the latest series of the Not Football Manager Retro FC playthrough, where we are playing not only one of the best football games of all time, but possibly one of my favourite games of all time. So we are playing Sensible World of Soccer, and we're playing this on the Amiga, on original hardware. I am using a Mega Drive controller, despite what the internet or some crazy people on Reddit say about that, breaking your Amiga, but that was what I used in the era, and I've been assured by the Yorkshire Amiga Club, by several of their members, that not to listen to the people on Reddit, not just about that, but about most things, you could say. Now, we have done the draw, and we have picked Bull number 20, which I'm going to be honest, as a Wolves fan, is possibly the team I would least like to play as on my favourite game, because we are going to be West Brom. But I'm going to be grown up about this, and I'm going to get on with it, okay? So you're going to have to excuse me typing a second. Masio, so good they named him twice. Now I'm thinking we're going to find West Brom in the Championship on here, are we? Let's just check in here, Division 1, as it is. Now I'm playing this through a drive. Now they are there, look, they're just above my face on the left-hand side. Watford, West Bromwich Albion, Wolverhampton Wanderers. So let's click into West Brom. Let's have a look at their squad first. Let's have a look at how much money we have as a team. And I'm not going to make any signings. What I'm going to do, because I'm expecting several of you to have played this before or to have ideas about this, I'm going to leave all of the signings to episode 2. So I'm going to wait for some suggestions, some scouting from the comments. So I will have a look through some of the teams, both in the Premiership, the Championship, and then if you want to see some other teams ahead of episode 2, let me know. Right, dear Mr. Masio, welcome to our club. We look forward to much success from our new partnership. Best regards, your chairman. It's very nebulous. Now let's have a look at the squad. So what have we got here? So it doesn't look great in terms of value straight away. You've got Stuart Naylor, Neil Pardsley, Gary Stroder, Craig Herbert, Scott Darton, Mike Phelan. Had no idea of him being there. Lee Ashcroft, Kevin Donovan, David Smith, Andy Hunt, Bob Taylor. Probably going to sell him because I am childish enough to admit that I hate him, hate that guy. Tony Lang, Stacey Caldecott, Ian Hamilton, Bernard McAnally, don't remember him, and then Carl Heggs. Vague memories of his name at least. Couldn't pick any of these out. So we've got just under $1 million. Probably not going to sell Bobby Taylor because he's my best player. Let's have a look at the transfer market first. A few domestic player market. Let's have a look at goalkeepers. So what we got? Chris Woods, Andy Peterson, Paul Gerrard, Nigel Spink. Defenders, Gus Wilson, Alan Tankard, Matthew Elliott. Is that Elliott who would go on to Leicester? Stig Bjornaby, Gavin Johnson, Richard Johnson, Ben Thatcher. Bit of a hero of the channel so far. Midfield, Tony Rigby, Jimmy Case, Glenn Hodges, Tony Agana. I remember he ended up at Sheffield United, didn't he? Jason Bowen, John Morrissey. Let's try attackers, because this looks like where we need to. Jimmy Quinn, goal machine, wasn't he, at this level? Paul Miller and Steve Butler. I tell you what, let's check the midfielders and the forwards for the foreign market as well. So Donato, can't afford him. Stefan Frund, we could get him. Pre-Spurs. Linkvist. And then Charlie Nicholas. I can't believe he was still playing. That doesn't track with my brain, that. But let's have a check at least of our. I was going to say let's have a check of our next match. It's up there, isn't it? We've got Swindon. Do we have Swindon? It's saying we've got Derby County there. But who have we got in our league? So we've got Barnsley, Bolton Wanderers, Bristol City, Burnley, Charlton, Grimsby, Luton, Middlesbrough. This has got such an old school feel to it. Look, Oldham Athletic, Port Vale, Southend United, Swindon. So this, I'm trying to think, this would be when they've just been relegated, has it? I'll tell you what I do want to have a look at as well. We can't go to transfers. It's making us go into first game. So first game of the season, home, because it always has us first there, but we're home because you can see the little H. And we've got Swindon Town. If I'm going into a game where we play, I do a little bit of prep. I've done none on this. I did used to be pretty good, I felt like, at Sensible World of Soccer and its various incarnations, but this was a long time ago. So I'm going to get over my petty dislike of Bob Taylor, and I'm going to leave him in. I'm going to leave those tactics the same. What is that? 4-4-2, 2 wingers, yep, 2 midfielders, and we're going to give this a go. We're going to see how we get on in this first game. We've got Fraser Digby, Joey Beecham, Andy Thompson, Neil Webb, the Fjordtoft, who we've owned for both Blackburn and Sheffield United on the channel. Not totally sure who Keith Stott is. Steve McMahon and Terry Fenway. That's an experienced bench, isn't it? I will give them that. Now, one of the things I was about to say when I was going to check the transfer market is my memory, and you could tell me if you agree with this, is that Noel Whelan from Leeds was one of the best players to buy on this if you were new or if you had a less good team. But I played a couple of different versions of Sensible World of Soccer last night, trying to play this original Amiga version, trying to get it all set up for today's recording. Oh, is that an injury? And Noel Wheeling, at least on a couple of the games, was a winger. So on one of the ones I tried, he was already at Coventry as a striker, and he was 2 million. And on the other one, he was a left winger. So I'm not sure, and I've not been able to fully find this. It looks like they did some updates. Oh, I've lost it there. Number 7, not happy with his ball control. So he's an immediate target for transfer, I would say. But yes, I'm not sure if they did some in-season. Oh, it's got to that. In-season updates or stuff like that, or whether there's different versions or variations of the game around. But I feel like 26 minutes in, doing all right, even with it being at home. No one has run onto the pitch to assault anyone yet, so that's good for West Brom. Oh, I thought I'd got a goal there. I thought I was going to be the goal-scoring superstar hero. Come on, ref. Now, if you did play the PC version of this at any stage, you'll notice that they had commentary on it. So a challenge like that, you have what a lot of people mistake as a real commentator, but I believe it was just John Hare, wasn't it, the programmer? But he goes, referee, which you'll notice sometimes I just shout regardless of what game we are playing, due to the amount of times that I've played pretty much all forms of Sensible Soccer. It's just so good. It feels so good to be back playing it again after so long. Half time, West Bromwich Albion 0, Swindon Town 0. Right, look, 50-50% possession, but we're shading the goal attempts. This winger is pretty fast, although his shot didn't have much power. Oh, there's 7 through on goal. I need to check. 7 wasn't Taylor, was it? I think Taylor was the other one. And I can't remember. Uh-oh. Oh, what a save. I won't be replacing him after that. I can't remember what the values mean. I remember, was it finishing, heading, volleys, control? I remember I used to have them back in the day when I played this. I used to have had them wrote down on a little piece of paper because I didn't have the instruction manual. Despite having a genuine copy, before anyone gets any ideas of why I never owned the manual, I bought it secondhand off the market, and it was I had the later edition because I remember a friend of mine had this one, which is how I was introduced to Sensible World of Soccer. Come on, play this across. Cut inside. Oh, I've lost control and he slide. He's not done what I wanted him to do. It's 1-0. They do not deserve that, do they? Give the ball away. Little ball forward. It's probably Fjortoft, is it? Keeper. He's not done himself any favours there, really, has he? Despite his excellent save before. And I've given it away. Going for that dribble down. But what was I saying? Yeah, I had the later edition of this. And it does bill itself in the manual as a management game. Even though you can play the games. I nearly had my hand in the air there. What time are we on? Is it going to give me a check? 8 so we've got like one attack maybe at most. Not if I give the ball away. Well, I think we can all agree that was Bobby Taylor's fault. But there we are. We've lost the first game. It was Scott. It was not Fjortoft who scored that. Despite us shading the goal, well, though they've equalised on the goal attempts. They had 6 on target as well, so maybe they did deserve to win that. But first game of the season is a defeat. Welcome to Not Football Manager TV highlights. Now, if you felt the first game went well, do not worry, because the second game did not. Here I am being dismantled 5-0 by Bristol Rovers. There's one of the 2 goals Junior Bent scored. Here is his second. So that's 2-0 down. Ian Bard grabbed a brace for them. And I can't remember who got the other one for me. That was my best attempt of the day. And here's my other highlight where I made a sub. Now, 5-0 does not sound great, and it was not a good performance, but it was particularly poor keeper performance. A little bit of nice football here from Bristol, but keeper just lets this in. And then this one is even worse. You've got to be doing better than that, mate. So game 2 down, bottom of the league, not where we wanted to be, 0 points, which is just off behind my face, along with Southend and Burnley, who also have 0 points. And I didn't say this at the start, but I'm going to give myself 2 seasons to get out of the Championship, or as it is, or Division 1 as it is on the game. And then 2 seasons, if I do that, to try and win the Premier League. So those are the kind of conditions I've imposed on myself. So we were off to a very bad start. So if I get relegated, that will be it. That will be the end of the end of the season. So we're going to just have a check of. So we've still got that. Just got short of £1 million. So if we have a look at other domestic players, so we're going to have a look at the Premier League. So we're going to have a look at some of the teams in the Premier League, and maybe a couple of teams in the Championship, because we're not able to afford possibly many of these players. So let's have a look at Arsenal first. So this is the Kevin Campbell, Ian Wright era. Alan Smith on the bench, could maybe get the money for him. I tell you what I will do. I'll also have a look at Leeds. Now, this is what I said left winger before, but with right winger. So this is what I was talking about. Even though this is a different version to I played last night, Noel Whelan is a right winger on this. Lucas Radibi is a midfielder. Could be someone who could offer us something potentially, because my midfielders are very slow. Phil Masinga. Who else have we got? Let's have a look at Man United, who we've just played as. So what we've got: Schmeichel, Parker, Bruce, Pastor, Irwin, Kanchelskis, Ince, Keane, Giggs, Cantona, Hughes, Gary Walsh, David May, Lee Sharp, Nicky Butt, Brian McClare. Let's check out Liverpool. That is a pretty rancid looking Liverpool side, isn't it? At least defensively. Look, Rush, Fowler, Barnes, and then McManaman. It's decent. Nigel Clough. Michael Thomas could be a player that we could maybe use. And like I said at the start of the next episode, if you want to see any teams, let's check Wimbledon, who we've also played as. Just let me know in the comments of this episode, and we'll get them up. Efan Kuku, Marcus Gale, channel icons from that FA Manager, PlayStation 1 playthrough. I can't remember the name of the game there. Here we go. Who else do we check? Let's check Everton and Palace. And then 2 more. Paul Rideout, Daniel Amakachi, forward line. Seems pretty decent. Brett Angel. Did he go to Stockport or Tranmere? I remember him dropping down into the Championship at some stage. Check Palace because I said it out. So they've got the Chris Armstrong, Bruce Dyer forward line. So I wonder if they had just been promoted. Look, you've got Gareth Southgate in there, 450,000. Richard Newman, Dean Gordon, left back. Chris Coleman, Richard Shaw. That's not, in retrospect, that's not a bad team. You can see why that got out the Championship. Eric Young. I'd love to buy him and then I can wear a headband every episode. Check Leeds, didn't we? Let's have a look at Newcastle. Is this a decent Newcastle era? Ruel Fox, I can see. Beresford, Philippe Albert, Darren Peacock, Mark Hotiger. He was Swiss, wasn't he? I believe. Oh, he is Swiss. He's got his name on. Paul Kitson, 2.25 million. Lee Clark. Andy Cole, 4.5. And then let's check one more. Let's check Spurs. So they've got the Sheringham-Klinsmann partnership. That's a pretty decent team, I feel like. Look, Ilu Dumitrescu, Popescu. Man follows us around this channel, but we've probably got no chance of landing him worth being 3.5 million. I wonder if Nicky Hazard would be worth a shout. I tell you what, let's have a look at some heavyweights. Let's check Ajax first. Now that's a team, isn't it? Look at that. Van der Sar, right Seeger, Danny Blind, the senior, Frank de Boer, Finity George. So they've got that 3 at the back. Right guard Davids, Litmanen is a midfielder on this. Overmars, Clivert, and Ronald de Boer. Then they've got Grimm, Salou, Carnu. There we go. Carnu is 600,000. How can we not be thinking about trying to get him in the team? Seedorf at 650, and then Peter van Vossen up top. Let's get over in the San Siro, Sebastian Rossi, Panucci, Baresi, Costacurta, Maldini, Donadoni, Albertini, Desai, Lentini. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Savicevic, Alessandro Melli, Tassotti, Boban, Simone, Masario. What a team! What an era we got to live through if you were part of that. And let's have a look at Juve. I'm starting to think, where would Ronaldo be if he was on this? Would he be PSV? Vialli, Baggio, Deschamps, Souza, Conte. That's a decent team as well. Conte even. Souza is 7 million. 1.8 million Del Piero. Ravanelli, kind of in our price range. And let's have a check then. Let's just go back to Holland. I'll call them Holland if you don't mind. Which is my David Moyes, in case you're like, why did he say that? It was something he said during the World Cup coverage that's just stuck in my brain. There he is, Ronaldo, 7 million up front with Luke Nillis. And then you've got Hestreska, Newman, Vink, and I have no idea how you say that. Parleplatz. So that's a decent team, that, isn't it? Eric Major. Did he end up at Liverpool? Or am I confusing him with something else? So there we go. That is our squad. So we're not off to the best of starts. Bottom of the league. There we go, so you can see it. But I'm going to play through another 4 or 5 games after I've uploaded this. So you guys can start to get your transfers requests in, and hopefully we'll come back with maybe a slightly reworked team, and hopefully some points as we get to about game 10 of the season. So thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying the Sensible World of Soccer playthrough. Let me know your scouting, your transfer recommendations, and hopefully I'll see you on episode 2.